If we expected one team to be better in the second half of the season, that surely is Mercedes. They started to pick up the broken pieces in the last few races of the first season, with Russell claiming his maiden pole position and the team finally finishing higher than P3 on 2 occasions, France and Hungary. What was even more motivating is that Mercedes shared the podium on these 2 occasions at P2 and P3, with Ferrari nowhere to be found on the podium. This brought the Brackley-based team to just 30 points difference compared to Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, but after the Belgian GP, it seems like the team is yet again far off from where they want to be. Why did this happen? Did Mercedes shoot themselves in the foot by pushing for a change in the Technical Directive? And is the championship fight over? Stick around to find out more. After the Azerbaijan GP, Mercedes was very vocal when it comes to the FIA's involvement to fix the technical regulations and solve the porpoising issue. But one more aspect has been heavily anticipated these two, and that is the flexibility of the floors. They believe that Ferrari and Red Bull are circumventing the rules heavily and have pushed for change in the technical directive from Belgium onwards. They did succeed in this, as the FIA has applied new rules that won't allow the floors to flex more than 2 mm throughout the whole length of the wooden planks, not just the 3 pinpoints where it was previously measured. According to George Russell, this would slow down Ferrari and Red Bull and won't help them in any way, saying, "Spa is going to be interesting. There are some changes to some of the regulations which may bring other teams towards us. I think we as a team have a lot of confidence in ourselves and faith that we're doing a great job, and there is no reason we can't be in the mix." There is no doubt that Ferrari and Red Bull have pushed the regulations in that regard, and we have respected it as the regulation was intended. There's no guarantee that it would bring them closer to us. We know if it was in our car, it would make us look slower. There's no guarantees, every car is different, but it's not going to help them, that's for sure. You know the saying, "This didn't age well"? Well, it suits perfectly in this narrative, as Russell is slowly but surely making a case for himself to be one of the most hated men on the grid. He was this sweet, innocent boy in Williams that waited for his chance in Mercedes, but it seems half a season in the team does something to you. During the free practice sessions, Red Bull was practically uncatchable. Verstappen's pole position lap was 1.8 seconds faster than Hamilton's and Russell's laps, which is something out of this league. Even Russell himself predicted after the qualifications that Verstappen would have an easy way of winning tomorrow's race after starting P14, since he doesn't really have a competition as of now. I think Max is going to slice through and win the race probably pretty comfortably. He and Red Bull are miles ahead of everyone, but I don't really know about Charles, to be honest. But I've got to focus on myself, and I expect we should be able to be ahead of 3rd place starting Fernando, and we'll probably end up in no man's land behind the front 4 and ahead of everyone else, said Russell. Not just that, Russell spoke about the difficulties that the Mercedes experienced throughout the Spa circuit, adding, "I think it's inherent car limitations that we have. I'd say over the course of a season, we benefit a lot more on the Sunday than the limitation we have on a Saturday, and we've probably only had 3 out of these 14 races that have been really bad qualifiers. Here and Imola spring to mind, and maybe Monaco as well. All tracks where you struggle with tyre temps. So there's a clear theme we want to try and find a solution to. But we don't have the answer at the moment. On Saturday it's 15 degrees and the track was 20 degrees, whereas in the past it was 25 degrees and the track was 40 to 50 degrees. So the tires just operate in a totally different window. As I said, even when it's hot, we still do struggle, generally on Saturday, and we would close the gap on a Sunday. Finished Russell. What happened with Mercedes? We expected to see a closer fight between Russell and Sainz, as according to them, Ferrari should be much slower. Is it possible that with the new regulations that they pushed so heavily for, they shot themselves in the foot? According to Verstappen, when Mercedes protested regarding the flexibility of the floors, he said that he doesn't really understand it because Mercedes are the ones that have the most flexible floors out of all competitors on the grid. Was the Dutchman right? Helmut Marko hasn't missed this opportunity to take a salty jab towards the team that gave them a proper battle last season and the team that they controversially took the Drivers' Championship over. Maybe we'll have to change something about the chassis because of Toto's new guidelines. They worked very well this weekend. We thank him. It seems that Mercedes have fallen back even further. Everything was perfect. The car, the tires, we had it easy. We are satisfied with Perez's performance. If you are more than a second behind during the first practice, then this is a good result, finished Marco. One thing, however, that must be mentioned is that apparently the new chassis that has been mounted on both Red Bull cars, according to reports during the Belgian GP free practice sessions. Although this upgrade wasn't due to the Singapore GP at the beginning of October, it seems like the Red Bull drivers had a new monocoque for the Belgian GP, which made their car 5 kilograms lighter in weight. Red Bull has constantly brought upgrades to every race so far, and this one, if the rumors and reports are to be believed, has been the most significant one when it comes to shedding the light. So far, Red Bull has been one of the heaviest cars on the grid. That doesn't mean that the team wasn't willing to push themselves even more, and with the new lighter chassis, they're now in the same ballpark when it comes to car weight as Ferrari, around 4 kilograms more than the 798 kilogram minimum. The new chassis has been built with a different construction to the chassis when it comes to the cross-ply of the different layers of carbon fiber, thanks to the finite elements used, with software that virtually evaluates the stresses by dividing the body into several sections. The possibility to simulate the resistance of the structure and its stiffness has been enhanced. Back to Mercedes we go. Toto Wolff has made an assessment of the Belgian GP, saying that the qualifications were the worst one experienced by the team in the last 10 years, and that Red Bull is in a league of their own. Could this be because of the so-wanted technical directive pushed by Mercedes? Who knows? It is, for me, the worst qualifying session I had in 10 years, irrespective of what positions we're going to start after the grid penalties. Even being pulled the previous weekend and 3 weeks later being nowhere is just not acceptable for ourselves. There's something which we totally don't understand. Clearly, Red Bull is here in a league of their own. What is the next Ferrari? 8 tenths off? 9 tenths off? But that is no consolation, said Wolff after the qualifying, and continued with a pessimistic approach after the finish of the race, which saw Hamilton retiring in lap 1 after the collision, with Alonso and Russell not being able to challenge Sainz for P3 and having to satisfy with P4. We need to accept the reality. I don't think you can be satisfied with Verstappen being in a league of his own. We need to really find out how we can improve our cars. The gap is just too big. The car is very difficult to drive and hasn't got the pace on a single lap, so we just need to work ourselves out. There will be lots of sticking their heads together, setting the sights on not only the next few races, but also next season. I hope that at a track that would suit us more, we are more competitive, but we mustn't be too much between depression and mania. Today would be all the reason to be depressed, but in Hungary 3 weeks ago, we were thinking, yes, absolutely, we're gonna win a race, so we'll never give up, said Wolff after the team has marked the 15th race in a row that a driver of theirs hasn't stood on the highest place on the podium. It seems like the team has to accept the fate that they built a car the wrong way, and they have to focus on the 2023 aspirations. According to Hamilton, the W13 is a car that he'll definitely not miss in the future, which only goes to show that they are done with this season when it comes to championship hopes, only praying for P2 and for future Ferrari mistakes, who also haven't been saints when it comes to performance. What do you think about this matter? Do you think that Mercedes shot itself in the foot by pushing the new regulations? Let us know in the comments below.